Reality. A path of destiny that we cannot unwind. Some may tell you a tale of free will. This concept does not exist. I will not fight reality, for my destiny is rooted in triumph. A giant battle ensues as a man played by Tony Leung leads an army. My name was Zhu Wenwu, grandson of Genghis Khan, and I am the most powerful living man. All of a sudden, a cannon is fired as Zhu Wenwu is knocked off his horse and blown away, engulfed in a cloud of smoke. While our destiny is out of our control, we still must find a catalyst in order to achieve it. Wenwu coughs and slowly looks up to see a giant spacecraft lodged in a mountain. Once we find that catalyst, we become a completely different figure, one that entirely surpasses the greatness of our past self. My name was Zhu Wenwu, but now I am the Mandarin. Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., steps out of his Iron Man suit and walks up in front of a large crowd. Welcome everyone to the annual Stark Expo. These past few years have been incredibly eventful for both me and the company. So today, I wanted to give you all some huge announcements, showcasing where we go from here. As you all know, I have recently become the world's greatest superhero. I know. Iron Man is my greatest invention, and hopefully, I can continue to use this great privilege to better mankind, along with my superpowered friends. But let me tell you, there's only one thing better than one Iron Man, and that's sipping a tequila sunrise on a Hawaiian beach next to a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. But if I had to pick something aside from that, I would say two Iron Mans. Let's hear it for Colonel James Rhodes, aka the War Machine. James Rhodes, played by Sterling K. Brown, walks onto the stage, waving at the crowd in a gray Iron Man armor with added weapons. You may be thinking, doesn't this world have enough heroes? I mean, I would know if it did. I am funding Earth's mightiest boy band after all. I've heard about the whole Elias Star debacle. Some people believe that us heroes aren't necessarily helping the world. What we need isn't less heroes. It's organization. War Machine retracts his helmet, revealing his face. I'm Colonel James Rhodes, and I gotta say, having the privilege to be War Machine is something that I am just so grateful for. I'm not some Avenger, or a vigilante working on the streets. I will be working directly with the US government and military, with my escapades funded by the Anton Van Gogh Foundation. We're making this world a safer place, one step at a time. The War Machine, everybody. There is still one big announcement I wanted to make. As I've said, we need more organization in this new world. After the Asgardians attacked Earth, there was a lot of destruction left behind. I was thinking, it would really help if we had someone to not only clean up the mess left behind by all these super attacks, but to also use this foreign technology to create innovations that will truly better our society. And that's when I found A.I.M. A woman played by Marina Baccarin walks onto the stage, followed by an army of men in yellow suits. Advanced idea mechanics is the next step in human evolution. They're finding ways to both make sure the world is safe from the new superpowered threats and create new tools to fight against them. Here to speak to you is founder of A.I.M, Monica Rappaccini. Thank you, Tony. A.I.M is more than just an organization. It's a mission. With funding and partnership from Stark Industries, we plan to take A.I.M global. Advanced idea mechanics is bringing you the ideas of tomorrow, today. After the expo, Tony walks back up to his penthouse, where he sees Pepper Potts, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and Rhodey waiting for him. What is this, an intervention already? I wouldn't say I'm too much of an alcoholic yet. Tony, we're just a little worried. Don't you think you've been pretty paranoid lately? How am I acting paranoid? Ever since the Asgardian invasion, you've been off. I mean, I know I haven't known you as long as Pepper has, but I can still tell that you're acting different. I'm not following, compadre. I'm gonna need some examples. A.I.M, for one. I mean, we know nothing about Rappaccini or her crew, and yet you've put so much trust into them. They have higher clearance than most of the Avengers. Even War Machine. I mean, I absolutely love the suit, but even I can admit that the whole decision was a little rushed. You've given the world advanced idea mechanics. War Machine. But where's Iron Man? You haven't put on the armor in months. Tony, we think the whole invasion made you think that you need to up your game or something. That you're solely responsible for keeping this planet safe. You've become so paranoid about it all that you've spent hours locked up in your garage thinking about ways to protect us instead of going out there and fighting as Iron Man. Less than a year ago, I saw what would happen if there was nobody there to protect us. I used to spend hours working on new ways to kill people overseas. I used to hurt everyone around me. Now I have the opportunity to make up for my actions, and I can't throw that away. I am responsible for this planet's safety. And you can call it paranoia if you want, but I would call it preparedness. You never know when the next Avengers level threat is going to surface. Tony, you need to see this now. Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau, comes running into the penthouse. He rushes Tony, Pepper, and Rhodey downstairs into a room full of computer monitors, all playing news footage of a military standoff in China. What's this? Chinese military. They've been in conflict for hours. Why do I need to know about this? What army are they fighting? They aren't fighting an army. Just one person. The Mandarin. He's real. The guy behind the 10 rings. How is he able to hold off an entire army? I don't think this guy's your average everyday warlord. He hasn't been seen in years. This is the first time he's resurfaced. No one knows why. What should we do? I have been looking for this guy, but it's a Chinese conflict. We don't want to make too much noise. Rhodey, suit up and lead an infantry out to see what's going on. We have to get a sense of this guy's power. Got it, boss. The Mandarin, huh? You have no idea what you just gotten yourself into. We cut at the outside of a large A.I.M facility, where Monica Rappaccini waits outside. The limousine pulls up and Tony walks out, greeting Monica. You're late. Sorry, I was caught up with a few things. So, the VIP tour, huh? I'm excited. Monica opens the doors to the facility and leads Tony in, as several A.I.M agents follow them. This is our newest facility. It was constructed as a replacement to our location in Nevada after your green friend made a mess of it. Well, that was actually Blonsky, but okay. This New York location is our most state-of-the-art facility. Here, we're able to use resources we collect from battles in order to create new and progressive innovations. We're on the verge of making a greater discovery in creation than penicillin. As Tony and Monica walk through the lab, we see dozens of A.I.M scientists working on projects. I heard you were currently attempting to create some kind of supercomputer? Monica stops in her tracks. That is only phase 1. The thing you refer to as a supercomputer is simply just a tool we need to reach the discovery we truly strive to make. It is still a fascinating project nonetheless. When innovators attempt to create new supercomputers, they try to make them as human as possible, while also instilling some sort of omnipotence. That's impossible. Humans aren't meant to be all-knowing. But what if we could create something that was? What if we could combine human life with artificial intelligence? Okay then, Monica Frankenstein, you said you had a party gift for me? One of the A.I.M agents hands Tony a briefcase. It's a new suit. I know you like to make your own, but I thought it would be nice to have one that incorporated some of our technology. I really appreciate it. There's something I need to attend to now, but this was nice. I'm not regretting our partnership. War Machine lands in a Chinese field, followed by helicopters carrying an infantry of US soldiers. The Chinese military, they're gone. And so is the Mandarin. Everyone look around. We need to get a sense of what happened. The soldiers search around the field, and eventually one of them runs into the bloody corpse of a Chinese soldier and screams. War Machine and the rest of the infantry run over and see hundreds of other corpses scattered across the fields. Holy shit. How did one man do all this? I'm more than a man. War Machine turns around and sees the Mandarin standing behind him, with 10 glowing rings on his fingers. Rhodey aims the gun on his wrist. Men, prepare your weapons. You think guns scare me? I've lived over 800 years, survived and prospered through countless wars, plagues, and famines. What are you talking about? How did you kill all these men? We all think we're so strong, that we're invincible. People don't realize that there's always a bigger man out there somewhere. You can run around acting all high and mighty, but when that bigger man comes along, your tree of self-conceit will surely be chopped down. War Machine and the rest of the infantry fire their weapons at the Mandarin. Mandarin lifts up one of his rings, and all of a sudden, a giant wind vortex is created, sending the bullets flying back to the soldiers. The Mandarin then uses another ring to send a giant electric blast at the soldiers, taking a lot of them out. It's his rings! Someone take them off! One of the soldiers runs towards Mandarin and tries to pry off his rings, but when he touches one, he's immediately disintegrated. War Machine and the rest of the infantry continue to fire all their weapons they have at Mandarin, but he just stands there and deflects the bullets like it's nothing, sending blasts of fire, ice, wind, and electricity at the soldiers, killing them. We can't take this guy. Retreat! Rhodey and the soldiers pile into helicopters as they quickly try to fly away. All of a sudden, everything turns pitch black around them, and the helicopters are hit by a giant force of energy, causing them to crash into the ground. War Machine crawls out of the destroyed helicopter. Men, can anyone hear me? Is anyone still alive? There it is. Your tree of self-conceit. It has fallen, and I will feast on the fruit from this tree. Mandarin kneels down to Rhodey. You may be the war machine, but I'm the engineer, not Tony, even though he may think he has it all under control. What do you want? Conquest, and not of territorial gain. I seek to conquer new power. I seek to achieve my full destiny. And Tony Stark is the key to all of it. How? You'll see. Mandarin stomps on War Machine's head, knocking him out. We cut to Tony sitting in his workshop, looking at the mechanics of the armor A.I.M gifted him. Edwin Jarvis, played by James Darcy, walks in. Investigating the suit. Do you think Miss Rappaccini is trying to sabotage you? I'm the target of daily assassination attempts. You never know. But this suit looks all good to me. Will you be using it? I thought you only liked to play with your own toys. Usually, but this suit incorporates tech I didn't even know existed. It would be a waste not to use it. Tony, we need you in the medical bay now. Tony runs out of his workshop and into the medical bay, where he sees Rhodey laying injured in one of the beds. Rhodey? What happened? He's in critical condition, Mr. Stark. We don't know what happened in China, but he was the only survivor we could find. Rhodey, what happened? Tony, the Mandarin, he's stronger than you think. What do you mean? What happened in China? He killed them all, Tony. We can't touch this guy. It's his rings. The power comes from his rings somehow. What are you talking about? This guy is powerful, and he wants something from you. I don't know what it is, but I'm scared because we can't stop him. Tony, when I say he's powerful, I mean he's on the level of Loki. We need to find out what this guy's deal is, and we need the Avengers to stop him. Happy? Who's available? Hank, Janet, and Steve are all busy. Thor was recently seen in Hawaii, but he's since disappeared. Banner could be useful. We have to drop the Magia for now. Until this is handled, we're shifting full focus and resources into the Mandarin and the 10 rings. Happy? I need you to work overtime. Find out every possible detail about this guy. I've already looked. I found everything I could. Look harder. Tony, I'm going to the mansion. By the time I get back, we'll have a game plan. Tony knocks on a door inside Avengers Mansion, and it's answered by Bruce Banner, played by Hugh Dancy. Tony, do you need something? What, I can't stop by to say hello? Tony enters Bruce's bedroom, which is filled with all kinds of lab equipment. Well, this seems safe. Is that a bottle of chlorine trifluoride sitting next to the microwave? Bruce, you know you have access to your own lab, right? I know, and I use it. I just need all the space I can get. Still looking for a cure? Bruce, not everyone sees you as a monster anymore. They sell Hulk action figures. You helped save the world. You're a superhero. This isn't the life I want to live, Tony. I understand that. Maybe I can get A.I.M to help you. I'll be okay. I think I'm close to finding a cure. I do have to say, I really appreciate you helping give Rick a job as an engineer with A.I.M. I was worried he'd be on the run for life. Rick's a good kid. He deserves a good future. So, why did you really come here, Tony? There's a new big bad in town. Well, not really in town. He's actually on the other side of the world, but you know what I mean. He's bad news. And I think we need to get the gang back together. I don't know if I want to be in the gang anymore. I'm trying to separate myself from the Hulk. I don't really want him running around and punching things. Well, let me know if you change your mind. I don't think I can take this guy on my own. Well, it was nice talking with you, Tony. You should stop by more often. Tony leaves Bruce's room, and right as he closes the door, several masked men jump him and cover his face with a chloroform rag, knocking him out. Tony wakes up and looks around. He's on a storage plane and he's surrounded by dozens of men carrying guns. Where am I? Did the Mandarin send you to take me? What does he want? Can somebody say something? You aren't in any danger, Tony. Bethany Cabe, played by Isla Fisher, walks forward. Bethany? Sorry about the chloroform. I knew you wouldn't agree to come with me if I asked politely. After I quit, I started to investigate the 10 rings. I couldn't get them off my mind. That led me to China, where I learned about the Mandarin. He's around 800 years old, grandson of Genghis Khan. He has alien rings or something that keep him alive. I don't know all the details yet. Anyways, I found some guys who used to work for the 10 rings. They agreed to help me liberate Long Quan. What's Long Quan? It's the micronation that Mandarin rules over, hidden to the public eye. That's why no one's seen him in so long. It's also why the Chinese government's after him. And you brought me here to join your freedom fighter group? I heard about what happened to Rhodey. I know you're after the Mandarin too. We could really use your help. You brought the new suit. Of course I'll help. Good. Because there's really no turning back now. We're already here. The plane lands in a giant Chinese field and everyone walks out. This is Long Quan? It just looks like a field. Mandarin's rings each have their own special ability. One of them can make things invisible. Tony and Bethany continue to walk forward until they pass through a threshold and are able to see the kingdom. One man built all this over the course of 8 centuries. So, what's the plan? Suit up and don't die. What? All of a sudden, dozens of 10 ring soldiers begin to charge towards Tony and Bethany, firing guns at them. Bethany's soldiers cover her up and shoot back at the 10 rings as Tony suits up in his new armor. Welcome back, sir. You've been out of the game for a while. Joe Costa? Monica Rappaccini uploaded me into your new suit. How did A.I.M get access to you? The 10 ring soldiers charge at Iron Man and hit his armor with bullets. You know what? It doesn't matter. Tony rockets into the air and begins to fire highly powerful, repulsive blasts at the soldiers, taking them out. I don't remember Iron Man ever being that good. This new suit's incredible. Also, that's mildly offensive. So, is this micronation just filled with members of a terrorist organization? Why are we bothering to liberate it? No, there's people who need our help. Right then, young children and their mothers come out of hiding and stare at Iron Man. A lot of the 10 Rings members were forced into this life, along with their wives and children. They're living in fear, poverty. They're meant to be sacrifices. Sacrifices? What do you mean sacrifices? Tony, something lives beyond the mountains. A creature. The Mandarin believes that if this creature awakes, it'll have reason to go after him. So he sacrifices the women and children of Long Quan in the name of the dragon. A little girl walks up to Iron Man as she looks up at his robotic face. Tony kneels down and the girl hands him a flower she picked up from the ground. It's a peace offering. The Mandarin. He kills all these kids. They're all powerless to him. We're gonna find him. And we're gonna put a bullet in his head. Luckily for you, half of that plan has now been accomplished. Tony turns around and sees the Mandarin walking toward him. All the women and children scream and run back into hiding. The Mandarin holds up one of his rings, and everything goes black. The last thing Tony hears is Bethany scream before he's knocked out. We cut back to New York, as Rhodey lays in the medical bay of Stark Tower. All of a sudden, Jarvis walks in. Jarvis, is everything okay? Mr. Rhodes, how much have you recovered? I feel fine. I just want to get back out there and see what the Mandarin wants with Tony. About that, Tony's been missing. I can't locate his suit because he's using some new one that Advanced Idea Mechanics supplied him with. But if I had to guess, he's in China. I know where the Mandarin's base is. I can suit up and head there. Are you sure that's a good idea? We gotta make sure Tony's okay. He can't take this guy on his own. Jarvis, I need you to be my comms. Absolutely, Mr. Rhodes. I'll get the suit. Tony wakes up, covered in blood and sweat. After his eyes adjust to the light, he sees that he's chained up in the Mandarin's palace. Coward. You know I'd beat your ass if my arms weren't tied. No, I just wanted to save myself the annoyance. You know, Mr. Stark, I've been building my empire since the Magna Carta. If you think Long Quan is the only kingdom I have domain over, you are quite foolish. How can you just slaughter your own people, women and children, in the name of some dragon in the hills? This dragon has reason to kill me if it's awakened. I have to keep it at peace, with sacrifices. You see, millions of years ago, there existed a planet called Kakarantara. This planet was inhabited by vastly intelligent reptilian creatures known as the McLuhans, or as humans would refer to them, dragons. The McLuhans lived in a utopia. Their world was so advanced that there was no war, no famine, and no evil. One day, a very special gem crashed onto Kakarantara. A gem that holds powers I can't even imagine. It's called many names, but what I hear it referred to as most is the Reality Stone. The McLuhans found the Reality Stone and harvested its powers to create their magnum opus, these. Mandarin holds up his hands, showing Tony the 10 rings. Shortly after the McLuhans created the 10 rings, their planet was caught in the middle of a world-ending natural disaster. To save their creation, one McLuhan was sent off in a spacecraft to guard the rings, named Fin Fang Foom. Foom crash-landed on Earth, right over in that mountain range. Back in the 13th century, I found his spacecraft and took the rings. They made me immortal, gave me greater power than any living man on the planet. But if Fin Fang Foom were to ever awake, he would attempt to kill me for taking the rings. I'm not sure if I would be able to defeat the creator of my greatest weapon. I'll stop you. If that means unleashing this dragon and having him kill you, so be it. If Fin Fang Foom is unleashed to the world, who knows what it will do to this planet? I'm not the only one in danger. What do I have to do with this? Rhodey said he wanted something from me. I don't necessarily want anything from you. I just need you out of the way. Your absence will be the key to achieving my full power. How? The reveal will be more fun as a surprise. Where's Bethany? That reminds me. I wanted to thank you for giving me a new sacrifice. The ceremony begins shortly. You son of a bitch. Unfortunately, you won't be able to watch. You shall remain chained until you die of starvation. The Mandarin leaves as Tony screams and rattles his chains. All of a sudden, War Machine crashes through the walls of the palace and lands in front of Tony. Rhodey? I told you this guy was bad news. You gotta get me out of here. He's about to sacrifice Bethany to a dragon. Bethany's here? You know, I should really be more surprised about the dragon, but it's really the Bethany part that's got me shook up. I'll explain later. We have to go now. War Machine fires his repulsors at the chains, freeing Tony and allowing him to suit back up as they both fly out of the palace. We cut to the Mandarin and some 10 ring soldiers, leading a handcuffed and gagged Bethany cave into the mountains. Eventually they reach a large crater, and we see an alien spacecraft sticking out of the ground. Mandarin pulls out a large dagger as Bethany screams and tries to pull back. In the name of the dragon. Before Mandarin can slice Bethany's throat, Iron Man crashes down and lands a blast on him. Tony breaks off Bethany's handcuffs and stands in front of her, guarding her from the Mandarin. The 10 ring soldiers begin to fire at him, but their bullets are blocked by War Machine. Stop it, you fool. You'll awaken the beast. Who, Fin Fang Foom? Why would I care? There's already a big ugly lizard standing in front of me. I can't use the rings up here. I can't risk him awakening. Perfect. Then this is our chance. Let's take him out, Tony. I would warn against that, Mr. Stark. You are standing next to unknown and unstable technology. Firing your repulsors could have potentially dangerous consequences. I call the shots to Acosta. Tony fires an enormous repulsor blast at the Mandarin, blinding everyone with a giant white light. Mandarin gets up, unscathed. What have you done? All of a sudden, the lights on the spacecraft begin to power on, and everything goes silent. Then out of nowhere, a giant green dragon bursts out of the ship and flies into the air. The Tin Ring soldiers run away screaming, as Fin Fang Foom flies down onto them and kills them all with a fire blast out of his mouth. Fin Fang Foom then turns around and flies towards the Mandarin, unleashing a giant fire blast onto him. Mandarin counters the fire blast with an ice blast from his ring. I'll evacuate the people and get Jarvis to send some rescue helicopters. Great, and I'll just fight this ancient dragon, I guess. War Machine grabs Bethany and flies off, as Tony fires his repulsors at Fin Fang Foom. You can't stop him. This is your fault. If you weren't so power hungry, this dragon never would have had reason to awake. Well, isn't that funny? Are you not the one who threw away all your relationships? Gave incredible power to individuals you barely know, all because you were so paranoid about not being able to help people. You may try and say we're different, Tony, but our branches grow from the same root. Power stems from paranoia, not feeling like you're able to provide. That's how men like us are born. We learn to strive our entire life for ways to become more powerful. And let me tell you, Tony, one day, this will all come back to haunt you. One day, your dragon will awake. Fin Fang Foom breaks free from the Mandarin's efforts to hold him back and soars into the air, flying towards Long Quan. He's gonna kill everybody. Tony launches into the air and flies after Fin Fang Foom. I wouldn't recommend being this headstrong, Mr. Stark. This creature seems to be quite powerful. I'm finishing this, Jocasta. I have to fight my own battles. Tony lands on Fin Fang Foom's back and lands punches and blasts on him. Fin Fang Foom tries to shake Tony off, but he holds on tight. Eventually, they crash into the buildings of Long Quan. And Fin Fang Foom unleashes fire upon the city, causing the citizens to scream in panic. We cut to War Machine and Bethany attempting to rally everyone together and load them onto the rescue helicopters. Everyone, you'll be okay. Just come with us. We're trying to help you. Fin Fang Foom wrecks through the kingdom, as Iron Man rides on his back, trying to stop him. The Mandarin lands down in front of the dragon as he catapults towards the ground, stopping him with a giant blast of electricity. Tony, lead him towards me. I can disintegrate him if we come into contact. Yeah, I'm not really in control of his direction, pal. The rescue helicopters start to ascend and quickly try to escape from the kingdom as Fin Fang Foom flies after them. Rhodey, get up here, I need your help. War Machine flies into the air and lands blasts on Fin Fang Foom. Eventually, the dragon becomes weakened by all the attacks and falls to the ground, taking Tony down with him. Tony slowly gets up and stumbles away, as Fin Fang Foom rises and towers above the dust. I am the descendant of Genghis Khan. I have forged my empire for centuries. I am the most powerful living man. I shall no longer be held back. I have the will to possess the power daimonic. Mandarin lifts up one of his rings, shooting an enormous blast of white light at Fin Fang Foom. Iron Man and War Machine quickly join in, shooting their chest repulsors at the dragon on full power. Fin Fang Foom unleashes a giant growl before falling to the ground, unconscious. What was that? What did you just do? I achieved a new power I've been trying to unlock for a long time. My conquest is nearly complete. Now that that's over, it's time for you to face justice. Tony holds his palms up to the Mandarin, preparing to fire his repulsors. Warning, energy critically low. I'm afraid the suit's functionality isn't high enough to participate in battle. You may leave, Tony. I believe that everything I need to happen to you will soon be carried out. I have no further use for you here. No, you can't just say this is over. Tony, we did it. We liberated Long Quan. We stop that dragon from being unleashed on the planet. There's no way we can take this guy right now. Especially not with your suit's power this low. He's a warlord, Rhodey. One more powerful than any other human I know. We can't just let him get away. I promise you, Tony Stark. If I ever wish to take power, there is nothing you can do to stop me. We'll stop him, Tony. Trust me. But not now. Bethany got out safe in one of those rescue helicopters. Let's fly home. I'll be there to spot you if your energy depletes. Your actions today have been very commendable, Tony Stark. I'm almost sorry for what's going to happen to you. This isn't over. I'm gonna kill you. Iron Man and his new companion, War Machine, aka Colonel James Rhodes, were successful in liberating the micronation known as Long Quan from the warlord called the Mandarin. You'll get him, Tony. Even if it takes the Avengers, you'll get him. I think you were right, Pepper. I don't know what I've been doing lately, but it hasn't been working and I'm just disconnected. That's why we're here. A part of you is still trapped in that cave in Afghanistan, and you need people to draw you out. I really need to apologize to Bethany. Hope we can mend things. What about Monica Rappaccini? Have you talked to her lately? Shit, thanks for reminding me. I've been meaning to ask her some questions about the new armor. I'll head out right now. If I die and don't come back, play Another One Bites the Dust at my funeral. Very funny, Tony. We cut to Iron Man landing into the A.I.M facility. Monica? You home? Tony looks around the facility and realizes that it's completely empty. Where the hell is everyone? We heard about your stunt in China, Stark. Monica? What are you wearing? What is all this? It's time we quit the BS, Tony. The Mandarin was supposed to kill you, but the son of a bitch left me with the dirty work. What? You know, you really need to be more careful about who you trust. Tony tries to fire his repulsors at Monica, but all of a sudden, he falls to the ground and starts having convulsions. It's my suit, remember? I'm in control of what it does to you. I thought you were supposed to be a genius. Warning, conditions critical. Arc reactor powering down. Stop, please. I really want to thank you for giving us this power, Tony. We're gonna save the world. We just need you out of the way to do it. Arc reactor failing. Death imminent. No! For what it's worth, Tony, I really did respect you. Arc reactor shut down. Goodbye, Mr. Stark. You will be missed. The job is done. The Mandarin walks into the room and looks down at Tony's body. Now that the distraction is out of the way, it's time to begin our project. Don't worry, the cosmic cube will soon be completed.
Adventure seeker on an empty street, just an
Monica Rappaccini stands at a control panel on the A.I.M facility. The experiment has concluded, my scientist supreme. The supercomputer is ready. Perfect. We'll see if he's responsive. Monica presses some buttons on the control panel, opening up a window into a large warehouse in front of her, as we see a large shadow appear in the warehouse. It's beautiful. A human supercomputer. Good afternoon. George,